Steinbach's Glen Goodman and his family were forced to celebrate Christmas a little earlier than usual this year. Goodman has been a Manitoba Hydro employee for the past 22 years, currently in the position of Senior Live Line Journeyman. He was one of the 42 Manitoba Hydro employees who willingly gave up Christmas with their own families in order to aid exhausted Ontario Hydro workers who were waging a losing battle out east, trying to restore power to the more than 250,000 customers affected by the pre-Christmas ice storm in the Greater Toronto area.
It's tough to leave your family at home at this time of year, but that's what linemen do. When the lights are off, you go fix them.
Goodman says that when the call for volunteers was made, his entire crew committed themselves immediately. It wasn't an easy decision to leave his family for the holidays, and Goodman says he's grateful for his family's support.
My family is very supportive. I phoned them up and told them what was going on, and they all said, yeah, go, it's got to be done. And they all got together here, and we had our Christmas Eve on the 23rd, opened some presents, and celebrated Christmas a little bit before I left.
Goodman was in no doubt as to the severity of the power outage as soon as his plane touched down in Toronto.
Those people were in bad shape because when you have no heat and no lights, and it was by the end was day 9 they'd been without power. They're tough shape.
Manitoba Hydro linemen are familiar with the effects of harsh weather on power line infrastructure.
Well, here in Manitoba, we have most trouble with ice storms when there's the ice forms on the line, and it forms like an airplane wing on the wire, and then the wind blows, the wires start to bounce, and they're jumping up and down, and then the arms break and then poles break, which wasn't the case as much in Toronto. In Toronto, they got so much rain and just the right conditions that it was sticking to the lines, but in the city, so many trees, and the big issue there was trees coming down on the line and taking the wires right to the ground.
Initial estimates put the total number of customers in the Greater Toronto area who were without power in the initial aftermath of the storm at approximately 250,000. Goodman, however, suggests that in reality, those numbers were most likely far greater.
When we got there was 80,000 people out of power, and when we left, which I feel we should still be there till everyone's lights are on, but they said there was only 295 people left. But I'm not sure they had a real good count because everyone doesn't call in. And we'd go down streets, they'd say go fix a house on this street, and you'd get there and you'd fix it and there'd be 4 more. So you'd spend 2 hours there. So, but the bulk of the people were on, and it looked like things were coming together, and they sent us home. But it would have been nice to sit here and nobody's left without power.
For homeowners who had been living without heat or electricity for more than 9 days, Goodman says their reaction when the power was turned back on was overwhelming.
They couldn't have been more appreciative. They were so happy. When you work on a street and you turn the lights on to, say, 1 or 2 streets, and people come out and they're cheering and they're bringing you coffee and cookies and calling you saints and heroes, and we're just doing our job, and that's what we do. But they couldn't have been more appreciative.
Although Goodman missed out on celebrating the holidays with his own family, he takes pride in knowing that he played a small part in making somebody else's Christmas a much brighter one.
We weren't at home for Christmas, but we were doing a good thing, and at least those people could have lights. Some of them got their lights on for Christmas. And that's a great thing when you can turn the lights on.
For Steinbach Online, I'm Karen Block.